Hi, I'm Jessica Barton. One of the most common types of disruptive events we respond to is the death of a colleague. Of course, the type of death can make a big difference in some of the reactions, questions, and concerns you are likely to hear during your on-site response. My hope is that by the end of this short video, regardless of the nature of the death you are responding to, you'll remember you already have the necessary psychoeducational and coping recommendations to assist the impacted employees. Although death is seldom easy and usually carries a certain level of shock, the deaths from a long-term illness such as cancer are perhaps the least intense type of death we respond to. With these types of cases, there is generally a lower level of shock and disbelief, and colleagues may move into grief a bit more quickly. You may be also more likely to hear the colleagues talk about good memories of the deceased or what they would like to do to honor or remember the person. Another type of death we frequently respond to is sudden, unexpected deaths. These may be natural means, such as a heart attack, or unnatural, such as a car accident. In either case, there is generally a bit of a higher level of shock and disbelief. You may be more likely to hear reactions regarding a sense of unfinished business, such as plans the colleagues had with the individual that are suddenly gone. Although the sense of loss may be more acute with these cases, depending on how long it's been since they first learned of the death, they may not yet be feeling intense grief. They may still just be processing that the death even occurred. Of course, the most difficult type of death is suicide or homicide. These cases will generally carry the highest level of shock and disbelief. They also tend to carry a higher level of anger and blaming. In these cases, you might hear statements from people about feeling like there's some sign that they had missed. Fortunately, as I'm sure most of you know, the psychoeducation we provide during our responses will have a lot of the common elements regardless of the type of incident. For example, self-care and utilizing one's support system are important aspects anytime someone is going through a difficult event, regardless of the specifics. When it comes to disruptive events in the workplace, it is also important that we stress how colleagues can be a support to each other as they are going through this together. There are also some specific teaching points that may be more relevant to death and loss cases that you might find useful. Perhaps one of the most important points to get across is how grieving may look or feel. Most people think of grief and they think of crying and sadness, which is why it's important that we let them know that the responses can also feel like numbness, anger, irritability, exhaustion, agitation, forgetfulness, or a mental fog. People may find themselves focused on their work and feeling fine one minute, and then the next, they are suddenly reminded of the person they lost and are flooded with emotion. Letting people know that some of the normal reactions they may encounter, not only right now, but in the coming days and weeks, helps them to accept and not worry about how they're feeling about the death. Remind people that the pain, grief, and emotion they may experience is okay, and that it is okay if they don't experience many emotions either. Encourage people to find outlets for their emotions. For some, that might be going for a walk or working out. For some, it may be spending time with loved ones. For others, it may be lying in bed and reading a good book. Any positive activity that brings a measure of calm or sometimes just a distraction can be helpful when coping with loss. Thanks for watching this edition of Inside Crisis.